Hello YouTube, it's Borders Dude back with a video review. Now today I'm taking a look at the Studio Series 86 release of Brawn. Yes, another minibot finally released. Now will you want to pick this guy up, or will you look to pick up one of the plethora of third-party offerings that have came out recently for this character? Let's take a look and find out. And as always, we'll start off with the alt mode, and the alt mode is done very nice. I love how they've actually spent time putting the silver paint and the yellow bumper on, giving him that classic Generation 1 look, as well as the grey paint being adopted at these two parts here for symmetry. In terms of how it looks in alt mode, it does look okay. You can tell it's definitely a Transformer, aside from the fact you've got the great chunking big Autobot logo on the front there. You can see that the sort of hallmarks, such as the big bar there, that helps compress that backpack in his robot mode. But overall, in terms of how they have done the alt mode, it is really good. Apart from, of course, those blooming peg wheels. You know, I can't stand them, and I think on a Studio Series figure especially, that should not be happening. They should have the budget to make sure that we can have some decent wheels, and we've seen other figures in that deluxe price point from the Studio Series line that do have wheels. So I really do wish that they would stop scrimping out there. Maybe they sacrificed that part of the budget to give this figure a bit more paint, as he does seem a bit more lively with paint than other Studio Series figures, but nonetheless it is still one of my biggest bugbears on the official Transformer figures. But apart from that, as I've said, he does clean up rather nicely, and it is a nice little Jeep looking alt mode. Now for accessories, and I'm bringing this in a bit quicker than I would in robot mode, just to show you the fact it does store in his alt mode. Now it literally just stores at the top there on the tyre. I guess you kind of stretch it to be some sort of radar dish or some sort of antennae tracking system, I guess, so it works okay, but it is a bit lazy in terms of how you do store the weapon. But nonetheless, the option is there for your weapon storage needs. Size comparison time now, and let's bring in the old faithful deluxe sideswipe mould, the very versatile sideswipe mould. Looks okay there, you know, in terms of Jeep versus sports car, works very well in the deluxe scale. So one thing I'll definitely say with the Legacy and Studio Series 86 line in particular, they do have a nice synergy in sense of scale between the two lines, and that's great for people who like scale in their collections. And the other comparison we will do very quickly is a core class figure, so the scale doesn't really tally up, but there we are, there he is with core class Starscream. Really nice little figure, and yeah, that's your scale comparison there between core class and deluxe class alt mode. Let's take a look at Brawn's robot mode. Now the transformation from alt to robot mode is a doddle. It is nice and fun and simplistic, brilliantly designed, and this figure is the definition of a desk bot. Allows you to flip him back and forward with no issues. However, when I say no issues, what I mean in terms of the transformation, the concern I have is with this piece here. The way this hinges up the back there to avoid butt flap syndrome does concern me a little bit. As you can see, there's a bit of resistance on my copy, so I don't think I'll be doing that often with this figure, and to be honest I was quite scared to do that, thinking it would snap, but that hasn't been the case. However, I don't know how many times that would stand up to a transformation, so it's something to be cautious of. It might just be an issue with my copy, but maybe that's how it is with other versions, so just something to be wary of. But once you do get them transformed, you get this fantastic looking robot mode. That head sculpt in particular, the grey helmet, the silver and the blue eyes, it's just a wonderful representation, captures the look and feel of Brawn, and those blue eyes do pop on the face itself. The rest of the figure looks amazing, looks like he has just came off the silver screen. And at the back, it cleans up reasonably well. Yeah, there's a bit of kibble there, what would you expect, given what his size class and what he transforms into. It, again, it all adds to the charm of this mould. And to make sure you know he's a good guy, he gets a second Autobot tampo applied to his chest. Now this kind of looks almost like a bit of dry brushing coming through. I don't know if that picks up on the camera, but really I think it's just how the plastic's bleeding through the paint, but that gives him a bit of a well-worn, weathered look, and I for one welcome it. Time to take a look at his articulation. Now the arms are on a ball joint, so you will get the full 360, and out. You get a bend at the elbow. You also get a bicep cut. The fists are fists, no articulation, as you would expect, and you get a wrist swivel due to transformation. When we look at the head can rotate, however, you're better just removing it from the back there of the figure and twisting it, because it is quite a tight twist, and also there's not much clearance between the head and the back of the robot. You do of course get a nice waist swivel. You won't get an ab crunch with this figure, I don't think you'd expect that. The legs could do a full back and forth, if not for his backpack in the way, but they can go out quite nicely to give you that range of articulation. You do get the thigh cut, and you get a reasonable bend at the knee. Ankle tilt, yes you do, a really nice ankle tilt. So in terms of articulation, you've got loads of options to give him some excellent posing. And as you know, I like a bit of figure photography, so it's really good to see that articulation come into effect on this figure. Let us see how Brawn scales with other figures. So once again we bring in the de facto deluxe standard, which is the wonderful sideswipe mould. And yeah, they scale quite nice. He's a little bit smaller than sideswipe, which does scale. And of course, as before, I'll bring in the little core class figure. Now definitely out of scale there with this figure when I get my stand, but as you would expect given the size range of the core class. But nonetheless, that gives you an idea of where he is going to scale within at least your Studio Series and Generations line. As previously mentioned, the only accessory you get is his blaster, which fits on either hand and just pops in. And there we go. You can hold his blaster looking very sassy. My final thoughts on Studio Series 86 Brawn. Do I recommend him? Firstly, absolutely. This is a very fun figure. Once again, it just shows how far Hasbro has come in terms of design and engineering in a very short space of time. The robot mode is definitely the strongest of the two modes in this. I absolutely love that head sculpt design, and the paint they've used just makes that pop. The rest of the paint is applied very nicely and gives that almost washed out effect, which again I've said makes sense. The articulation is again plentiful, and the transformation to alt mode and back again is just fun and is definition of an ultimate desk bot. The alt mode is of course the weakest out of the two, as I just don't like the way they use those peg wheels for the tyres when we know there is other options available. Definitely scales as you would expect within the Legacy overall Generations line along with the Studio Series 86. Obviously it won't scale with your masterpiece figures, but would definitely do as a stand-in until you decide on the perfect version of Brawn for your MP shelf. Well, that's my look at Studio Series 86 Brawn. What do you think about this figure? Is this one that you're looking to get or already have? Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you soon on the next one.